Good morning, everyone, and happy Wednesday. We have a bunch of updates for version 4 to share with all of you. So, with that said, let's over to Shiva.
Hey, very good morning, all folks. How are you? I hope you guys are doing well. I had the opportunity to meet quite a few of you at the Rite of Boom, and I hope you all had a very good Rite of Boom event. I know that a week has passed, but I was unavailable last week, so I just wanted to thank all of you who stopped by our booth and basically kind of helped this whole thing. That said, folks, we basically receive a lot of things which say that this does not work, this sucks, etc. But I just want to point out, while we receive all of those stuff, the reason we are able to get up every day and basically move forward is because a whole bunch of you basically give us the confidence that things are getting better, things are much more evolved, and we like what we are seeing, etc. We are here to basically constantly take your feedback, make the changes, and you would have seen significant amount of changes based on various feedback that people have given us. And that's the philosophy that we drive with, which is basically making it better, and making it better quicker, so that if something is wrong, it will fail fast rather than basically failing slow. Second is that your voice is in the product. And I'm going to basically provide more opportunities where your voice can be in the product as I go into the presentation today. And what we really value is basically your participation, and your ability to control the direction of this product is what basically makes a difference. So with that said, what we've done is that a few things, like people said that the entire process of user creation, basically they wanted a modification. We've basically given this ability. So after a user is created, basically an email is sent to the this thing. And then when you click on the verify email address, what basically happens is that you're now basically coming into the this page, which is essentially a Connect Secure page. So earlier, if you remember, this was basically one of the problems that everybody was saying, that it's going into a ZTL page and people are getting lost into it. So we fixed this, and this is basically being released shortly. And this is basically both the sign up experience as well as the experience when you do a reset password, etc. All of this will essentially come back to our page. So we've made some significant changes in the way ZTL works, and basically brought this to the have brought this to the fore. Well, I understand that for the past few weeks, it was very frustrating, but I hope you also understand that we essentially had to make workarounds and basically get all of those working and working properly in order to be able to get this. So going forward, that particular piece where you were in the ZTL portal and then you couldn't land back into the original portal is now going away, and this basically will this thing. And same with the entire login, we are basically giving you a mechanism by which it is basically completely easy, and you're basically into the portal. So once you basically set up your two-factor, you're logged in and you're into the Connect Secure portal. So no longer will basically you go to a ZTL portal and then you have to click another link, etc. All of those processes have been streamlined, and this basically is getting released right now. The second one was basically we added a date filter to download the report data for specific dates. This has been an ask so that you can basically see the trends of the data across for multiple days or months or whatever it is. And then the ability to basically also modify your and customize your Excel reports at a global and company level. So these were basically kind of requests that had come in. So we have implemented all of these. So when you basically kind of, if you change all of the, like the header text, you can basically set up what the data text color should be, what are the cell colors, all of that can be basically kind of customized. And so it basically takes all of these settings and basically makes it based on that setting. So it's possible for you to customize even XLS files. Now, I'm going to be very candid. A lot of you have given me feedback, and basically I take all the feedback to heart. And the point is that, yes, our reports are looking very boring and pedestrian in V4, and I'm looking at ways and means to kind of spruce it up. And I honestly basically have been asking a lot of partners. Everybody says like, no, the reports are not good. But then when I ask them what exactly should we put in the reports, Unfortunately, we don't get very many answers, and they basically just say, yeah, look at other product reports or this report, etc. And we go into those product reports and they're also the same. So I wanted to put April 1st, but then I realized that it's a very bad day, right? So it's April Fool's Day, and then you might think that's an April Fool prank. So I said, starting April 3rd, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to sit with with a team of people who basically understand security, and we are going to basically redo each report. So our own CISO Krishna is here, and then we have the head of engineering, Suraj, and basically Sri Vidya. All of them are basically going to be, we're going to be sitting together. What we are going to do is that we're going to basically take only 3 reports per day. And what we're going to do is that we're going to basically turn it around and change it to basically look much more professional, get you the data that is required, get you any of the trends that are required, and make sure that report is basically fully functional. So we're going to basically, so because earlier we just built reports ad hoc by using different blocks and putting it together. Now we're going to basically put a concerted effort to say that, does this report make sense? If this report has to make sense, what kind of data are people expecting? And we're going to build this report. Now, what I need from you folks, right, because you're all part of this team, is that please send me a mail if you're going to be willing to review these reports that we create and give us back feedback, okay? And again, when I'm taking time from you, as you know, always, I never essentially take time without basically respecting your time. So if you accept to be part of the review team and you provide us with the valuable inputs. And what I mean by valuable inputs is that, see, the problem is that whenever we build a team, if somebody comes in as a freeloader, everybody else has a problem. So valuable inputs is that we make a change, or you basically can substantiate to us as to why our report is doing well, or why this is the right report, or why this is what we're doing in the report is wrong. It may not be what is wrong, it may be what is right, and also give us insight into how this report will be useful when you go and present to your customer. If you give us these inputs, you will receive 500 stocks from our partner stock plan. This basically is a commitment we are making. And people who are the top 3 contributors, okay? So we will essentially tabulate this, and people who contribute most to this effort, we will receive an additional 1,750 and 500 stocks, right? So what I am going to do is basically I'm going to put the ownership of the company for the work that you're doing, and basically make this something that it is part of because you are creating it, because we're valuing the creation time that you're giving to us. And that is why this plan is put together. This is not something to just say that, yeah, something will, this thing. Again, please realize that we as a company are rapidly growing, and whatever stocks you get will get valued at a good value. And I know that a lot of you basically in the last partner stock plan that we did before we got the investment, basically we did the complete payout and everybody got paid out well. So my only request is please participate and help us make this better, okay? So apart from that, there are a whole bunch of other updates that we've done. One is essentially the bulk reset agent configurations. Now we are receiving isolate. So last week, we basically fixed all the offline online agent issues. Now, a bulk of the issues that are coming with agents not showing online, okay, are coming because of 2 reasons. One is the firewall is blocking we are connecting to myconnectsecure.com, right? And in case you're not whitelisted it, then basically that will get blocked. However, last week when we released the agent, there is a fix that we put for that too. What we've done is that in case our connection to myconnectsecure.com fails, we are essentially going back to mycybercns.com. And if that whitelisting succeeds, if that has been whitelisted, then it will essentially connect to the server and continue. Now, for some reason, if your firewalls contain exact IP addresses, we have posted the list of IP addresses which are valid for V4. My only request is please open those in the firewalls. We have basically it in the documentation. Otherwise, basically, agents will be online and should be online. The third issue that I'm seeing with a lot of folks is, and this is something that we are trying to fix on our side, we are basically refreshing the caches. So what happens is that a lot of you, the browsers basically tend to cache a lot of the JavaScript and the HTML that basically comes out. So one of the problems that we are seeing is that, for example, the agents, the way that we were querying the agents was basically using, we have now created a new call, which basically is more efficient and gives you the agent status, which is why basically we believe that that problem is solved. However, what we're seeing is that because you have not cleared the cache, the issue that is arising is that you're still calling the JavaScript API that's being called from your browser is basically the old API. And in those cases, we are essentially seeing that the agent status is not being updated. So my only request to all of you is that in case you see this problem, or if you hear of anybody saying this problem, can you please try these two things? One is essentially clear the cache completely and then run it, and then you should be in good shape. If you basically don't know how to clear the cache, the simplest thing is to basically start a private window and do it. However, it is not convenient for everyone. So basically, ideally clearing the cache would basically help a lot. For this specific website, just clear out the cache. Please remember that we're using Cloudflare, so it's all edge-based. So you don't need all of those caching pieces. This will essentially kind of work even without these things, okay? So that is as far as that is concerned. So we have the ability to bulk reset agent configurations, and then you can essentially take multiple assets and create one single scan job with multiple assets. And then the next one is basically, this is again feedback from all of you, right? Where you basically said you have all of these icons. I have to go and hover on it to essentially see what it means. And so we've now basically made all of these basically names, and these will essentially be translatable into any language. Second is that you know that the right-hand toolbar problem has been removed. We are now working on step 3, which is like in certain places like assets, etc. You see these asset actions, right? So these asset actions again are too huge over here. So we are now going to be moving this into every specific component so that whatever is relevant for that component is essentially in those particular components. And this will essentially bring us back to the way it was in the older UI that you're more comfortable with. So we are basically making those changes, and those changes will transition out and basically be available in the next couple of days. Worst case by Monday, we'll essentially do this because this week, I think we have a Good Friday holiday coming up on Friday. And then one of the requests basically was that when you upload evidence for certain manual things, you essentially wanted to be able to upload multiple pieces of evidence. And so this is also supported. Plus, we basically have a count of how many pieces of evidence you've uploaded against a certain control. So all of that is in there. And then you can delete the evidence. We have support for Lancome firewalls. That is something that a few of you had asked. So Lancome firewalls are now fully supported. And then we now have HIPAA, PCI DSS, NYDFS, FADP as part of all of the assessments, the compliance assessments that we basically are doing. So these are all the manual assessments that you do using templates, and you want to basically finish those assessments. Those are available right now. And these are the things which are under QA. So the ability to bulk map discovery settings and credentials to the agent. This is something that a few of you had asked. The only question is that I was initially believing that this is not a good idea, but there seems to be some reasons for why this is being done. So if you have a good idea of what those reasons are, please let me know, because we can do this thing. Second is the ability to bulk terminate jobs that basically are running. So because this was something that was not present before, you had to do it one by one. So you can now bulk terminate jobs. And then you can essentially look at who are the agents that are using this particular setting when you essentially try to delete or modify a discovery setting. So these basically were the updates basically that we've been doing for the past 1 week. And as I said, we're going to be focusing this week on essentially looking at, we are going to basically be running an audit of all of the data, looking at all of the data to basically make sure that it all is basically looking good. And basically, we're going to basically take almost like 30 partners a day and basically validate whether we are seeing all the data, is are the normal numbers looking good, are the agents all looking good, etc. And then we'll basically build out a health report, and then we'll basically send that out to you. So that's something that we're going to be doing this week. Please keep your feedback coming. I know that sometimes it can be very frustrating to basically say, you guys are basically kind of this thing, but please realize that We are working on every single ticket, every feedback that you give us. We work on it. We make sure that it is basically incorporated. So nothing goes unheard from this side. So that's essentially our commitment to you. So with that, what I'll do is that I'll stop sharing, and then um, we can go through any questions that were there during the session. Andy had a few questions. So here what I'm so for reports, maybe customize the images on the reports. The answer is yes, we can. You can customize the images on the reports. This is something that we'll be showing you next week. Executive scorecard with a grade 2 pages, which highlights critical issues and allows for budgets to correct. Okay. Found asset firewall appearing and disappearing when running a scan or report. Why? So uh, the firewalls basically may appear or disappear. See, the firewalls will not disappear, but the only reason that firewalls may be appearing and disappearing is because when we try to scan the particular IP, firewalls have this mechanism by which they basically will say that I won't respond to anything. And then because they detect that we are a scanner. So in that particular case, you could see this behavior where sometimes it basically detects it and sometimes it does not detect it. Then may we have the ability of changing an agent type based on the scan requested without losing the previous agent data, lightweight to probe and probe to lightweight. So if you attach credentials to a particular agent, then it becomes a probe. So it's basically painful to ask people to go and put another step which says that, okay, I want to basically mark this as a probe. I think that can be done technically, but basically, I think we'll put it to a vote to all the folks saying that you want a specific, this thing saying that this is of type probe, then we can do it. Evidence of compliance. Yes, this is one of the reports that you're planning to do this. Can you create a white label installer? Yes, we can. And basically, we've given instructions for it. I will basically send it across to you. Permission to scan agent networks IP range, establish permission granted by customer to perform scans for any devices other than asset. So Andy, the point is that there is a very imminent feature that's coming out because this thing where you will have the ability to essentially add a customer, and basically that customer can essentially add his assets and basically run a scan himself. That's something that we'll preview in a couple of weeks, but that will basically solve this problem of permissions that you require for this thing. Okay, so that basically, so those are the answers to those questions. I think I've answered all the questions over here, which have come in the question answer section.
So Shiva, may I give clarity about lightweight to probe and probe to lightweight? I'm trying to make it so that I don't have to establish one mode or another, but it would automatically say, oh, you now want me to be a probe versus now you want me to be lightweight.
So Andy, the way that it works is that the moment you attach a credential to it, it becomes a probe. Like basically the discovery settings and credentials you attach to it, it becomes a probe. But till then, if it has nothing to scan, it behaves as like a lightweight agent.
Okay, so I can install a lightweight and it will become a probe when I ask it to do a probe scan.
Yes.
And I just have to, all right, that was not clear to me. So thank you.
Thanks, Andy. Hey, Matteo, you have a question. You want to come on? Matteo. Okay. So let me go to the chat. That was the Q&A. Okay. Let's go. Good morning. Good morning. Okay. Matt, I agree with you, which is the reason for why we're doing this. Okay. So my email, I'm basically putting it out here. Okay, I'm putting it here. In an agent's display, is it possible to add a link to the asset from from the overview. Look, the problem with that is that with lightweight agents, yes, we can do it. But again, when you come to probe, there are multiple agents that are essentially listed over there. So, okay. David, if it did not go back to being a lightweight agent, that's a bug. And I'll basically get that addressed. It will basically convert from a lightweight agent to a probe. And the moment you unmap it, it will basically go back to being a lightweight agent. Christian, the point is that like when you're doing patching across assets, basically you have to essentially allow it in a partial policy, and that is documented. I will send that across to you. Permissions for external access for viewing of clients. Yes, so Sean, this is something that I will basically demonstrate in 2 weeks. We are giving you the ability to build your own customer portal where you can essentially publish what data you want the customers to provide. This is something that actually Dennis had been asking us for a very long time to basically provide. We have finally gotten around to doing it, and we also have a large business case to do it. So we will be essentially kind of demonstrating this and basically making it live on April 14th. Okay.
No, what I was running into is I have existing clients that access the portal in V4
Okay.
and their permissions got reset somehow and they were able to see all my clients instead of just their allowed permissions.
So Sean, I would like to understand when you say permissions got reset, that means their company, the list of companies that they are allowed, did they become admins?
They didn't become admins, but they were able to see all my other clients. They somehow got like added instead of just being limited to theirs.
Sean, I'll have to
We had
look at
that issue in the V2 version too once.
Okay. So unless see, there are 2 safeguards that we have in the current system. Now, I really have to, Sean, I will basically do a forensic dive into this as to what exactly were the changes that happened and basically get back to you. So Swami, if you're there, can you basically just take Sean Cowell's email and please, basically this thing, we need to do a forensic audit as to why the permissions got reset. We'll basically need to look at any audit logs that are in there.
Thank you.
Sure.
So, as I said, like a lot of you have basically indicated your this thing over here. I will add all of you into this group, and basically anybody who's interested, please send me a mail. I'll basically take care of it. Anybody who's put this on this chat, I will automatically add you into the list right away. I think I've covered all the questions. If anybody thinks I've not covered their question, let me know.
Shiva, I
Yeah.
have a question around artifacts of compliance and vulnerability. One of the things that I'm becoming sensitive to is that customers, I want them to have the ability to acknowledge that they've given us permission to perform a particular task on their network and to have that artifact stored with that company within Connect Secure. And so that if there's ever a question as to someone else is asking who gave you this permission, we would be able to say, here it's in your portal and here's how this was granted and when it was granted.
So we have complete audit logs in terms of who entered what data into the system at any point of time, and we make that available. Apart from that, what other artifacts would you require?
Just a document saying that we have permission to perform these scans. And that's the extent of it at that point, and report back to them on it.
Okay. So the main thing is that when you set up a customer, you want a mechanism by which you can send them a request which says that, which will go to them from your side, which will say, we are basically having these permissions to run a scan, and we are going to initiate a scan.
And it will result in data being collected about your company and will be shared exclusively with this individual. And then we have outlined what the task is.
Okay. So this will essentially be a template that you guys will fill up, right? We'll basically give you
Yep.
a placeholder where you can fill up this data. We'll give a template. We send this, and then when they hit approve, then basically we record that approval, and then we start scanning. That's how it will be, right?
Wonderful. And then also, if we choose to take on third-party patching or OS patching, we do an addendum that says we are now have permission to add this feature set to you.
Okay, understood. So I will take this and basically, I think we can add a module for this and basically make this available. Again, this will be an optional piece, which is like if somebody, so any partner wants to opt in for it, then they can use it as part of their workflow. For everybody else, it will work that the way it is normally, because I think there will be variation of partners in terms of some who have this requirement, the others may not have this requirement, but I understand you, especially with the clients like HIPAA-based clients and PCI clients, we basically need this kind of permission. Okay, perfect. I think we've covered all the questions and we've gone through everything. So with this, I thank you all for your time and basically have a great weekend. I think this weekend is Easter weekend. So if it is so, have a great Easter, everyone, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you, Shiva, for making yourself available to your community.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Andy. Thanks, everyone. Appreciate it. Bye-bye.